So I've already covered how fanbases can spiral into dumpster fires, so it really shouldn't shock anyone that Marvel Rivals has ended up in the same boat. It's been out for like half a year, maybe 7 months tops, and somehow it's already managed to gather the worst people the internet has to offer. You've got people rage quitting comp, crying over nerfs, exploiting bugs like NetEase is going to offer them a job for it, and even smaller things like racism and sexual harassment. The whole community is just crawling with dysfunction. I don't think I've seen a game spiral this fast into toxicity since early Overwatch, and even that took longer to get unbearable. And yeah, sure, it's important we acknowledge all of this, but people are out here acting like NetEase is gonna step in and fix everyone's attitude.
Hey! Have a fucking word with him then, ref!
Like, they can barely balance the game. You really think they're gonna fix humanity? And speaking of lost causes, before we get into this, I just want to clarify that any harassment of Squirrel Girl, Iron Fist, or Scarlet Witch, totally acceptable. Keep that energy up, ladies and gentlemen, because I personally want any of those players to kill them, because honestly, every match feels like a social experiment. You load in, and before the match even starts, someone is already popping off in chat because we don't have enough DPS, or too much DPS, or because they didn't get the role they wanted. I've seen people lock a Groot, push all by themselves, and then flame support for not healing them. One guy even said he was testing bugs and then refused to participate in the rest of the match. Homie, you are the bug. It's not even just selfishness anymore. It's pure delusion. Everyone thinks they're that guy, while the rest of us are apparently NPCs, ready to sabotage their climb. There's zero teamwork. Everyone's playing for themselves, and when things inevitably fall apart, it's open season in chat. And this isn't the normal kind of tilt, this is full-blown verbal abuse. You got slurs you've never heard of. You ask someone to group up and suddenly, you're cooked. I saw a guy on Reddit actually talk about an instance where teammates said things like, "I hope you die in real life," just because they didn't get healed fast enough. Like, bro, it is not that deep. Now that I've already spiraled down this rabbit hole, I have to ask, have any of you seen worse? Because as bad as it gets, I can't help but wonder if there's an even more cursed story out there. Anyway, you'd think this kind of harassment would only show up when something's actually on the line. Not that it makes it okay, but at least then the rage would make some sense. But nope, Quickplay is just ranked with even more room for harassment. They use it as a warm-up for flaming, griefing, or just unleashing whatever pent-up frustration they'd been holding in from throughout the day. I've been in casual matches where the chat was more hostile than any ranked game I've played. And harassment is no different. New players try to learn a character and get instantly flamed. I saw a guy get told to uninstall during his first ever support game because he didn't know every call out like he'd been genetically created to play the game. Nothing says welcoming community like roasting someone for not having the map layout tattooed on their forehead. That's where we're at. There's no patience, no breathing room, no understanding that people have to learn the game at some point. Then there's the other side of Quickplay. People who say it's only Quickplay when they're losing, but the second they win, it's suddenly role diff or character diff. I queue up to relax, not to watch my team collectively give up by the second minute. And I get wanting to learn a new character, but how are you learning anything when you're just feeding nonstop? On top of that, you've got high elo players locking in Lord characters like I'm supposed to suck their cock because of it. Quickplay is supposed to be chill, but half the time I'm getting hard countered or stuck against 3 strategists running actual comps. You'll see a fucking Loki copying every cloak and dagger goddamn alt whenever they get theirs. It pisses me off. I swear, I've played ranked matches that felt more casual than this. Quickplay is anything but relaxing. Now, if Quickplay is bad, ranked is where people lose their humanity. The pressure of climbing, combined with no role lock, means most matches feel like 5 randoms auditioning for a solo highlight reel. You get 4 DPS mains locking in instantly, while someone, usually whoever hesitated, gets stuck with healer. If you try to play tank, good luck. You'll either get ignored or blamed. The moment the team loses a fight, the healer gets pinged, the tank gets cooked for something, and the DPS who ran off to 1v5 Not a peep. Or worse, they're typing diff in all chat. Reddit and Discord are basically diaries for ranked trauma dumps. One support player went on a full breakdown about how exhausting the role is, how every game turns into a circus where tanks 1v6, DPS stands motionless in the middle of the whole fight, and then somehow they're the ones getting flamed because, well, surprise, healing doesn't work when your whole team is getting gang raped. Another guy vented about being flamed as a tank even though he had gold elims, gold damage, and was the only one contesting point, but apparently none of that matters when the rest of the team is looking for someone to blame. Kill count? Who cares? Doesn't matter that you blocked 30,000 damage or out-healed the enemy supports. If your number isn't flashy enough on the scoreboard, you're getting dragged. At this point, ranked isn't even about winning, it's about who can throw their team under the bus the fastest. Now, even though I've been pretty forgiving with the subreddit, I can't deny that it loses its mind every time a patch drops. Doesn't matter if it's a slight buff or a microscopic nerf, someone, somewhere will act like NetEase just committed war crimes. Suddenly, it's all, why do the devs hate melee players? Or ranged is OP because the devs only play Hawkeye, like they're doing balance changes based on personal vendettas. There was even a post claiming melee duelists are borderline useless and only viable if you're like a masochist. And don't even get me started on the support mains. Every other thread is a therapy session about how playing healer is the hardest job in the world. Like if pressing a fucking button is ruining your day that badly, do something else. People aren't reacting to changes. They're reacting to the idea that something might affect their favorite character. And instead of adapting or giving feedback, the community crashes out. Every patch thread turns into a battleground of people screaming, "This game is dead," or "XYZ is now trash." Nobody waits to test anything. It's instant outrage. And once the tide turns against a hero, even bringing them into a match becomes a liability. The meta policing is incredible here. If you pick someone who just got nerfed, even if they're still viable, you'll get passive aggressive pings, or worse, teammates refusing to play seriously because they think the match is already lost. Now, game chat is one thing, but voice chat is where things cross the line from just being annoying to being genuinely harmful. It's not just flame or tilt, it's harassment. Women are scared to use their mics. Deadass, multiple posts across Reddit and Discord have said the same thing. The second a female voice is heard, someone makes a comment. If it's not sexual, it's demeaning. Sometimes you get a double whammy. And if they try to respond, it gets worse. One girl said she was told she should get raped for trying to play Emma. Another had to listen to a guy spend the entire game calling her a fucking slut and saying things like, "Heal me, you fucking slut," just because she picked support, which is crazy. I mean, I've had people say weird shit to me while playing Psylocke, and I just play it off or match their energy. Most of the time I find it's just them fucking around, but when it's not, then you're kind of just stunned that these people exist. So considering all the shit that I've said, surely there's a way to report people and have them punished. Well, yeah, there is, but reporting players in Marvel Rivals feels like writing a letter to Santa and mailing it to a black hole. You can go through the motions. Click report, select a reason, type your heart out, but the worst thing that'll happen is they get banned for 15 minutes and then they can continue being a dickhead. It's common knowledge at this point that it's a lost cause to try to report someone. There's no real feedback, no suspension updates, no bans you can track. Even blatant trolls and repeat griefers go unpunished. If you're lucky, maybe they disappear for a day or two, but then they're right back, still going 0-14 as Groot and doing fuck all. Moreover, one of the most common points of debate in the community right now is whether or not Rivals needs role lock. I mean, it's always been kind of like that elephant in the room during the honeymoon period. Nobody wanted to accept it because we're all like, you know, let the people do what they want. But at this point, honestly, it probably does, because without it, this isn't going to get much better. You got people locking in pointless characters, and then one poor soul sighs, they pick healer, and becomes everyone's emotional punching bag for the next 10 minutes or however long the match lasts. Support mains are begging for structure, tank mains feel useless because their team doesn't play around them, and everyone else is hoping someone else takes the L and picks a strategist. Role lock wouldn't solve everything, but it would at least set some expectations. Right now, there's no system stopping 5 people from thinking they can be that guy, and that's why games fall apart before they even start. If anything, NetEase needs to make a separate game mode with role queues so that we can have proper matches and not rely on a stack or a divine miracle to provide you with competent teammates. There's also this wild phenomenon in the community where everyone thinks they're the coach. They don't ping, they don't group, but the second you die, they're breaking down your gameplay like it's Monday Night Football. You'll see players who are bottom fragging give out advice like, why aren't you creating space when they're in Timbuktu nowhere near you in the first place? It's like a competition to see who can deflect blame the fastest. My ex still wins that one, but in this case you'll have an Iron Man saying, don't overextend, or a tank that says bad positioning when he doesn't know where the fuck he is. It's not just annoying, it's condescending. People would rather type out an entire tactical breakdown than actually push together. But beyond that, just imagine being new to Rivals. You've seen all the memes and videos, and maybe you have some friends who love playing it, so you download it, hop in, and queue for a game. And you're immediately thrown into a match where your teammates start cooking you for picking the wrong hero. You don't know the callouts, you don't know the meta, and nobody wants to help. Instead, you get hit with uninstall. You're throwing. And why are you even playing before the first fight even ends? That is the welcome mat. That's the onboarding experience for Rivals. Now, you'd think community forums would be the best place for discussion, feedback, maybe even a meme or two. But no, most of the time they're just battlegrounds. One guy posts a clip and the top comment is someone calling them a moron. Another asks a genuine question and they get hit with skill issue and downvoted into oblivion. Even helpful posts get buried under sarcasm or nitpicking. People don't want to just be right. They want everyone else to be wrong. And that culture bleeds into every match. You're not just playing the other team, you're also fighting your own. The final piece of this disaster is that a lot of this behavior didn't just show up out of nowhere. It was imported in from every other competitive game with a chat box and a fragile ego. Rivals doesn't just have a toxic community, it has a trained toxic community. These people have been through the fire. League of Legends, Overwatch, Valorant, you name it. They survived years of ranked trauma and brought all their baggage with them. The blame shifting, the micromanaging, the condescension, the why didn't you nano me syndrome. It's not just toxicity, it's second nature at this point. You can almost spot what game someone came from just by the way they behave. The guy who types GG after losing one fight and rage quits at spawn, that's from League. The support flamer who dies 12 times diving 1v5 and then says, no heals? Straight out of Overwatch. The solo player who says nothing, never groups, plays like the team doesn't even exist, Apex 100%. Then you've got the Valorant transfer students who spend more time pinging your mistakes than playing the actual game. Or the ex-CSGO heads who act like you just cost them a major with one missed ability. It's like a multiverse of bad habits collapsed into one game. So devs can fix bugs, they can balance characters, they can add maps and improve queue times, but they can't patch the people aspect. Rivals could be massive, it has the bones for something great, but if we keep going like this, there won't be a player base left to enjoy it. People can only take so much shit before they uninstall and move on. You can only mute so many chats before you start to wonder why the fuck you're even playing anymore. And if the only way to enjoy a team-based game is to shut out the entire team, then what are we even doing? Game's gone. So yeah, it can be fun, but the people are just pure AIDS, and unless something changes, this is going to be another one of those games where the community killed the vibe before the devs even got a chance. But you guys, let me know what you think about this. I mean, it's kind of undebatable. Is that a word? Undebatable? Not debatable? Whatever. That the community is toxic as shit. Now, I'm curious to know whether or not you guys have some solutions, whether or not we should start recreating death camps, work camps to just send these people that are ruining our experience. Totally an option. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you think. And yeah, if you guys like this shit, in the like this shit button. If you dislike it, disliking actually works too. So if you don't like it, it's all the same to the algorithm anyways. If you comment, make sure you comment your least favorite race. Mine is the Indy 500. It's overrated, but nevertheless, thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, I promise it won't take a month for another video to come out. It's actually been closer to 2 months, but who cares? That doesn't matter. I'm not getting paid for this shit. So appreciate you for checking this out. And until next time, make sure to sue your landlord. Bye-bye.